To whoever still has eyes to read, I am writing this because it seems that my time has finally come. Despite the inherent immortality that comes with my condition, even I cannot live forever. The humans have begun to digitize themselves. They have outgrown the need for biological bodies, and at first it was voluntary. Only those who wanted to digitally live forever without the fear of pain or suffering could, and those who wanted to peacefully pass into the great beyond with dignity and courage could do so as well. However, after a few hundred years of this, the concept of death was deemed cruel and unusual, and therefore it was mandated that everyone's consciousness be uploaded to the resident interplanetary supercomputer. All of this was done in the pursuit of creating a singular composition of human consciousness. This technology promised a return to a collectivist womb where there would be no secrets, where there would be no loneliness, where everyone would feel the warmth of each other without the pain, because they would not be able to tell where one ended and another began. Such a tranquility was unknown to the humans, as they had spent their whole existence dreaming up grander and far more efficient ways with which to destroy each other. It was thought that this singular consciousness would finally ensure a symmetry of peace and harmony amongst the humans. It was, however, impossible for my kind. Due to our biological immortality, the software had a difficult time processing our immortal minds, and thus had a tendency to shred our consciousness in the process. This was fine, and we understood. My people and I were never meant to be equal with the humans. In fact, seeing as to how you humans are a natural and only food source, we spent much of our thousands of years believing us to be your betters. We have stalked your kind in the dead of night since ancient Mesopotamia, from the shadows of the back alleys in Rome to the extravagant throne rooms of Europe to the brilliant and exotic bazaars of Persia. My kind has hunted and toyed with you humans. We used to think of you as livestock, expendable and disposable. However, we never entertained the thought that your natural human intuition and thirst for exploration would find a way to cheat us, death, and loneliness. We thought that, by becoming what we are, we had already done this ourselves, and we would never have to worry again. The thing that no one tells you when you make the choice to become one of us is just how lonely and lengthy eternity really is. You have this idea in your head that it will simply be like your human life had been up until then, that each day will take its time and that you will live in the small moments and nothing will change too quickly for you to catch up with it. The fact is, however, that when you begin to live forever, the days melt into each other. They pass at the drop of a hat as if you were fast forwarding on one of those rudimentary VCR machines from the late 20th century. The best way I can describe it is as if it were to dream. It is more vivid and real than you can handle, and you fall into a world of such unbridled ecstasy that you forget time is passing at all. Everything is brighter and sharper, the people laugh harder and murder far more easily, and before you know it you are awake, and already forgetting what it is that you have just dreamed. Such is the curse of my condition, as there are no blessings. I was turned on the road to Istanbul. I had been a slave who was picked up by the horde in the south of Russia and was traded to some Bulgarians so that I might be sold in the great city. Our wagon was attacked, hit as if by some force of nature. I would say that my masters died well, but I imagine it was a far less glorious thing than they had hoped it would be. Regardless, the thing that had attacked us took a liking to me. She had said that I reminded her of someone from longer ago than I can conceive, and that she had been on her own for quite some time since. She introduced herself as Yvette. She was tall, blonde, and gorgeous in the way that only a dangerous thing could be. She asked me if I wanted to be more, if I wanted to become a lion amongst sheep. She asked if I wanted to live forever, and the only price being that of human blood. Having been a lowly slave boy all of my life, dragged from here to there as if I were some object, it seemed to be a wonderful new start for me. If I refused, she said I could keep my life, of course, but where would I go, and what would I eat? An entire lifetime of being a slave, and now freedom loomed over me, the endless possibilities a new tyrant. Instead, I took her offer, and I slipped into an endless cosmos of light and pleasure. I lived an extravagant afterlife, or as extravagant as the times would allow. I tended to live in the larger cities, Rome, Cairo, Moscow, so on and so forth. Ironically, it was in the great gardens that teemed with life that a little death went unnoticed. Yvette stayed with me for a great amount of time, but when you spend hundreds of years with one person, things inevitably become overwrought. Eventually, you come to know each other so well that words are no longer spoken for years at a time, which of course passed like the days did, and in the end we went our separate ways. She said she had decided to head to the Far East, a world wherein she was a complete and utter stranger, to see what fruits were born from their thousands of years of philosophy and faith. I, on the other hand, was headed for the New World. I think that she was searching for some lasting semblance of peace and belonging in those far-off lands, and I do hope that she found it. Where she is now, I don't know if I'll ever know. So many years have passed since then that the humans have moved on from their original planet. They now had bustling settlements on the Moon and Mars, and to live on Earth was something that only the very rich could afford to do. What was once a distant light in the sky for a young slave boy in Bulgaria could now be his home. At first, only a few brave humans went to race amongst the stars, and then more trickled in, until all at once the humans had flooded the new colonies. I suppose that is the thing about the fear of death. It seemed to always keep the humans in a rush. I don't have the same luxury that the humans do. They have spent their whole existence preparing for the void, feeling every moment as if it were their last, constantly upon the brink of the abyss, and living in beautiful defiance with each other in spite of it. They had purpose built into their existence, while I, alone as I was, never gave it a second thought after I became what I am. I never grew tired, I never slowed down to contemplate my own passing from this world. But now, as I look out my window from this freshly terraformed Martian planet, so alien and foreign to the Russian steppe I grew up on, I can see the earth and the sky, a distant blue light in a sea of ever-growing dark, and I can't help but feel that it all has finally caught up with me. I wanted to live forever, but it seems that even the immortal are not allowed to live longer than the universe will allow. When I was young, I had spent time in what the humans now call Greece. I had toured their shorelines, drank their ouzo, and explored their mysterious monasteries. Once, while traversing an old ossuary, I found a skull with an inscription on it that said, "What you are now, I once was, and what I am, you will soon become." At the time, I had not given the inscription much thought. It was, of course, the long-dead ramblings of a man whose religion I paid no homage. But now that skull is all I can think about. Maybe in the end we are not too different from you humans. Though we are your natural predators and you are natural prey, perhaps we have time, the void, and decay as our constant enemy. Regardless of whether one lives eons or a mere 100 years, it comes for us all the same. However, only the humans are conscious of it. Only the humans have the drive to achieve, to accomplish, and to live with courage rather than just dying to live. You are gone now, and everything is very quiet. It is difficult to decipher how much time has passed since I began to write this last shout into the void. Has it been minutes? Perhaps it's been days or months even. Before the humans disappeared, it was easier to gauge time, but without them it is running like the wind. It seems that I'm having a difficult time defining my own existence without the existence of others. No one is left anywhere except that of my kind, and there are very few of us now indeed. I don't have to die. But the alternative is that without the humans to sustain me, I will simply fall into a comatose-like state. Never to awaken, but being conscious and in writhing pain all the same from hunger forever. Trapped in my own body with nothing to do but listen to my own consciousness. Even immortals were not made for such a fate. The only option I have now, it seems, is to take my own life. And perhaps this is the reason that I am writing this. Because while the humans could not conquer death in the time that I knew them, they did create art in so much as to let other funny little humans with their own funny little troubles know that they were somebody, that they were here, and that they, even if only for a moment, existed as the conscious universe. To whomever still has eyes left to read, I have existed longer than you can imagine. I have survived through countless conflicts. I have watched others fall in love a myriad of times. I have seen the greatest of humankind, and at times have been the very worst of my own kind. I have seen technology give humans the power of gods, while their tribal tendencies held them back. The more that you learned, the more you understood that there was so little that you knew. Regardless, you stepped forward in courage into that darkness of the unknown. I never realized this during my time with you, but it was a privilege to be among you, to admire your courage, and to be inspired by it. In fact, my only regret is that without the humans here, all that was beautiful, all that was laughter and joy in the universe will fade away. Nothing will be left save empty worlds. The stars will still shine, the mist will settle as dew in the early morning, and animals will still live and procreate. But these worlds will be devoid of human life, of their compassion, their religions, their wondrous art, and their ingenuity. I am starting to decay now. I can feel it in my fingertips. I would write more. I could go into stark and unnecessary detail about the adventures of my afterlife. But my time has come. The sun is rising. I have not fed in a very long time, and I am so very thirsty. My only wish is that I were not alone in these last moments, that I could hold someone's hand as I burned away into oblivion. My fear of this final death is immeasurable, and my distress is immense. Tears are running down my face for the first time in centuries. However, I can say for certain that I am irrevocably and undeniably in this moment. I feel this fear and pain more vividly than anything I have felt in all my many years, and it is wonderful to feel this human. Here at last, at the edge of night, I have finally found my life again. How beautiful a thing it is to be this human, even if only for a moment. And what I would give for just one more day.